Timbuktu is arguably the most popular medieval city in the history of Africa. This is largely because Mansa Musa decided to take a grand journey from Mali across the North African desert. His wealth no doubt put the Mande city on the world stage. However, most people aren't aware that there were many African cities, even older than Timbuktu, that possess the same magnificence, an ancient city that has yet to get its just due. What up, African world? It's Home Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. By supporting this channel on Patreon, you're helping in the creation of these videos and supporting this content. If you'd like access to full courses and sources, or you simply want to show your support, you may do so by clicking the Patreon link in the description box below. One of West Africa's most ancient cities is the city of Djenné. Historically, Djenné was greatly overshadowed by Timbuktu, but that doesn't mean the ancient West African city was less important. In fact, Djenné and its more modern counterpart, the city of Djenné, was way more relevant than Timbuktu for quite some time, and its history was also romanticized in the literature by foreign observers. When the 19th century French journalist explorer Félix Dubois traveled to West Africa, he documented what he saw and wrote in a book. He focused more so on Timbuktu, but when he saw the ancient city of Djenné, it made such an impression on him that he began toying with the idea that Djenné might originally have been an ancient Egyptian colony. Now, of course, this sounds very bizarre to us today, but this was not an uncommon idea in the 19th century, as it concerns the history of the Niger Bend area in West Africa. For whatever reason, other travelers like Henrik Barth also proposed that this region in West Africa received input from ancient Egypt. I find their ideas to be very interesting because the high level of civilization they witnessed made them assume that it could not have originated amongst the local Mande people. Félix Dubois claimed to find a connection between the Middle Niger Valley in Mali and Egypt. He suggested that the architectural houses found at Djenné are consistent with the tombs of pharaonic Egypt. Today we don't subscribe to that outdated hypothesis, but it just goes to show you how sophisticated the ancient city of Djenné or Djenné was. Djenné is a city between Mopti and Ségou in the present-day country of Mali. It replaced the nearby ancient city of Djenné as a commercial center when the latter city went into decline and was abandoned around 1400. Its geographical location attracted traders from all over West Africa. It was at the head of the trade routes from the gold mines in the Ivory Coast, and it was an important center for the salt trade. The often photographed Great Mosque of Djenné is not the original one. The first Great Mosque was built in the 13th century by Koi Konboro, Djenné's first Muslim ruler, who erected the mosque on the site of his former royal palace. This building fell into ruin and was replaced in the early 19th century. But before Djenné became the city that it is today, it was preceded by an older city called Djenné. Djenné was believed to have been inhabited by around 200 BC. For centuries, the area surrounding the site of Djenné was subject to the regular flooding that was typical of the inland Niger Delta at the time. Between the effects of the flooding itself and the diseases that resulted from it, the land remained virtually uninhabitable for centuries. About 1000 BC, however, this began to change when, like virtually all of northern Africa, this area became increasingly dry. As a result, by the 3rd century BC, pastoralists and agriculturalists driven from the once fertile southern Sahara Desert began to migrate into the region. Archaeological discoveries indicate that a settlement was founded at Djenné sometime during this period. Evidence of crowded cemeteries indicates that a substantial town existed on the site by at least 400 CE. The simplicity of Djenné's buildings, which were constructed from sun-dried mud, may have contributed to the town's successful early urbanization, as well as to the development of the region as a whole. Nearby towns using similar building techniques were around the Middle Niger Valley, especially at Timbuktu, about 300 miles away. Iron use existed in this part of Africa even before the beginning of the Common Era, and the inhabitants of Djenné apparently were very gifted metalworkers. Their products consisted not only of tools, but also of jewelry. Pottery was another local product, and artifacts have been located that indicate an ability to manufacture sophisticated, thin-walled pottery. Djenné was part of a well-developed West African trading system, and trade and commerce was an important part of its economy. Exactly how extensive this system was is open to some debate, but to some scholars, the absence of any local sources of iron ore from Djenné's ironworking industry indicates a trade network that must have reached well beyond the local boundaries in West Africa. The presence of Roman and Hellenistic beads also is indicative of at least some trading contact with peoples having links beyond West Africa. In the 9th century, cylindrical bricks replaced the older foundations. The cylindrical bricks were also used to construct a city wall 12 feet wide and more than a mile long that surrounded the town. The presence of other objects suggests that Djenné had contact with North African Muslims in the 11th and 12th centuries. The people of Djenné probably converted to Islam in the 13th century, but urn burial continued into the 14th century, suggesting that not all the residents had embraced the Muslim faith. After the decline of ancient Djenné, the city of medieval Djenné eventually became a center of learning in the Muslim world, just like Timbuktu. Djenné was certainly on par with Timbuktu, as they produced some scholars who contributed to the edification of the West African elite. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its continued production, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself, remember your ancestors. Peace.